Hello Internet. Today we're again working on the Royal Enfield Continental GT. You would have seen in a previous video that I did a few things with the rectifier regulator, evap system and a couple of other things, but today we are installing another part which I have purchased from Hitchcock's Motorcycles over in the UK, and the part that I'm going to be installing today is the booster plug. Some of you may be considering putting one in yourself, or you may be wondering what it is. And it's essentially a device which tricks or influences the ECU into thinking that the engine is running at a colder temperature and will therefore provide more fuel into the system and therefore improve the performance. And the reason you'd want to do that on a newish bike like this is that the manufacturers like to run these bikes very environmentally friendly and very economically on fuel, and so therefore the engines do run rather lean, and that's not really what I am after, nor I think a lot of riders are after. And so by putting a little bit more fuel into it, well, you're enriching the mixture. And what this booster plug has, I'm going to show you right here. It has a couple of cables which go into the air system, which is, checking the temperature of the air coming in. And over here is a little, I guess you call it a thermometer, which is going to be measuring the air. And you've got your little, box thing here, which is going to be influencing the ECU into thinking that that temperature is a little bit lower, and will therefore be telling that ECU, put a bit more fuel in me and enriching it up. And then I'm going to take it for a ride after putting the booster plug in and just seeing, if I can notice the improvements that they claim to provide, better throttle response, less surging when decelerating, and just I'll give a couple of observations that I've noticed and what differences I think that it's made. So let's show you how this thing is installed. Now the first step is extremely complicated. You need to go and find your motorcycle key, put it into the side here, give it a little twist, and then you can open it. Once your side panel's off, come down to this little thing and pull it out, and you'll be able to then lift up the seat and take it off. You'll also need to pull off this other side panel because this is where the little temperature thing's going to hang down and the cable tied in. To do that, simply get a little Allen key, unscrew that, and then you'll be able to pull it off. Okay, so you now may be wondering, what bloody plug do I pull off? Do I pull off this one? Do I pull off this one, or do I pull off this one? And the easy way to work it out is you need to see the plug which has the cable which runs over to the airbox, and that is this one here. This is a little plug that has the stock sensor in it, and then you can see it's going up to this one. So this is the one that you need to unplug, and then you just got to work out with the booster plug, depending on which size that the plug is to which way it's going to then plug into that one. And then this little box will have to sit in a nice location, and then this thing I'm going to probably tie down somewhere here, which is nice and close to the original air sensor and the air filter, which is giving the current stock air temperature reading. I want it to be somewhat near that, so I'm thinking maybe somewhere I can tie it onto here with a cable tie, but I'll have a little suss to show you. Okay, so booster plug is all plugged in, and I've made it look really subtle under there and try to make it as neat as I can. You can see the little booster plug box is sitting here. I've just run a cable tie just around here, and that's all going to be hidden. And that shouldn't shake around now. That's very nice and snug. And then I've just got the little thermometer over here, cable tied in. And yes, I will be trimming these off. I'm not going to have that dangling out like that. We'll make it look nice and neat. But yeah, look, I actually kept the little original cable ties that this came with, which just kept the cord all wrapped up. You can obviously cut them and move this to wherever you want, and that, you know, allows you to use a fair bit of cable to do that. But I'm pretty happy with it, just keeping it here. I don't need to be running it anywhere else, I don't think. So I'm going to give the bike a little start up before I put it all back on and have a look at the idle, and then I'll put it all the side panels back on and take it for a ride. Might just give it a moment to see if it starts reading slightly different at all, if the computer wants to relearn it at all. I'm not sure if it really does it or not, if it just kicks in straight away. All I'd say is at the moment, I did ride the bike home from work an hour and a half ago, so it may be still slightly warm. That is ever so slightly higher at just a sitting idle. I'd say before it was much closer to 1100. Now it's more up around the 1400. Let's ride and see how it goes on the road, see what sort of throttle response I get. Okay, reviewing it after a ride. Well, bloody hell, it's going like a shower of shit and I was up on one wheel. Okay, look, honestly, if you're thinking this is going to be some major performance improvement, no, it's not going to be like that. You know, it's just a booster plug. You're not, you know, remapping the ECU or anything like that. However, what did I notice and what did I think was positive? I do think that it's idling slightly higher, and I reckon when decelerating and going back through the gears, I do think there's less of that, I guess, snatching on the throttle, less engine braking happening. I do think that when you're going down the gears, it seems to still flow along the road just that little bit nicer. It's not sort of I don't know, like jumping on it as you're braking. So I thought that was a real positive. I think when accelerating and you know, pulling back that throttle, probably, yeah, slightly more power coming out of it. You know, not huge difference, but definitely you can feel that that there's a change that's been made. And look, I've only just taken it for a quick spin around the block since putting it on. I'll be interested to see whether it starts to change over time at all, and whether I notice a few other things. I'm actually going to put back on my aftermarket exhaust because I had a feeling that exhaust was probably causing the engine to run even more lean than what they're programmed to do. So I'm going to put that back on, and I'm actually going to be then listening out for if there's less of that popping going on with deceleration, and yeah, and just generally look at how it's going to run under an aftermarket exhaust, because I do think maybe a booster plug is a good idea if you are running a bit of a different exhaust system on it. So that is my thoughts so far.